Hello, it's Kelvin here, as usual, and I'm joined as per usual, by my good friend, Crease.
Hello.
Hello, Crease. So, as always, we want to begin with a little explanation of the show. Crease has to entertain me, but as soon as I grow weary with the topics, with the news stories, and the things that he offers up to me, I ring my bell, move on to the next subject.
There we are.
Topic number one, Crease.
Topic number one is nature news. And I'll just read you the title of the article. It says, "Pregnant cow removed from Skegness pillbox wall."
Right, where do you find these?
I have a great deal of spare time. A pregnant cow.
Yes.
You know what a pillbox is, first
I know
of
what a pregnant cow is.
You know what a pregnant cow is?
Was that your next question?
No. During World War II, when there was the threat of Nazi invasion, Operation Sea Lion.
I know what World War II was.
World War II, yeah. They built armoured concrete boxes around the countryside.
Yes.
Which were basically like machine gun nests, basically. They were like armoured. Yeah.
Okay.
So they had little windows that you could put a Bren gun out of and when the German paratroopers came in. Well, a cow in Skegness... its curiosity got the better of it. It wondered, I wonder what's in that little tiny concrete bunker. I wonder if there's some delicious flakes of straw and hay. So it stuck its head through the window to look around. And of course, as it stuck its head through the window, its neck then rested on the window.
Yes.
And its head is bloated up. As the blood's got pumped into it, but can't get pumped back out.
Yes.
And it has become stuck inside the pillbox.
What do you mean? Its head swelled up?
Yeah.
Bigger than its body?
No.
Its head became so bloated with blood that it was actually had a bigger head than its
deflated
body.
Correct.
What do you call those things? Like a big space hopper.
No.
On a dog's body.
No. It simply became swollen enough to not fit back out of.
Yes.
The hole that it put its head into.
Yeah, really? Wow.
But it was trapped in there for some time.
Is that what happens if you put your head in a hole?
Well, it's similar to when you put a ring on your finger that's too tight.
Yeah.
And then when you try and pull it off.
Nobody's ever offered me a ring. Nobody wants to marry me, Chris.
Oh, Kelvin. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
No, I don't like people, though, so it works out for the best, really.
So, it's like when you put a ring on your finger, a child's ring.
A child's ring.
Anything.
I would never take a child's ring. That would be very inappropriate for a child to want to marry me. And for me to accept the offer...
So, if you put a human's ring that isn't romantically interested in you...
Right.
...on your finger...
Why are they offering me a ring, then?
Just to see if it fits your finger.
Just to see if it fits, because I have a similar shaped finger to
They look at your fingers, they look over and they go, you have almost identical fingers...
To my future husband.
To my future husband. Can I test the ring out on you?
And I say, sure, why not?
Yeah. So they put the ring on, and you can't get it off
Just
again.
so long as my finger doesn't act like a cow's head when put through a pillbox window. That's my only fear in all this. And they said, no, that won't happen.
Well, exactly.
No, that's a fair point. Okay, so
and then you can't get the ring off again.
Okay.
Because the blood's trapped in its head.
Yeah, well, fantastic.
Anyway, it was there for 6 hours, right? While people panicked because they couldn't really do anything. Well, they were like, what can we do?
What can we do now that the cow's trapped?
So, yeah, I mean, how would you go about getting a swollen cow's head out of a pillbox? I know how they did it. But I want you
I woke up this morning and I thought, we're doing this show tonight. I no doubt he will have for me a stupid question, which I must provide an answer to. Even then, I did not imagine that it would be as stupid as the question you have asked me.
How would you get
Well done.
How would
I get a
swollen cow's head
out of a pillbox?
What?
There aren't a lot of options.
No.
What got the cow in there in the first place?
Well, I would argue...
Why did the cow put its head in there?
Curiosity.
Right.
Maybe it thought there was some, like I say, delicious straw or hay in there.
Right.
And, a nice bit of hay. Do you know what I fancy?
Yeah.
A nice bit of hay. I bet you this large concrete bunker has...
What about putting something inside the bunker that repulses a cow?
Oh, I see.
So it kind of like, in the same way that it was drawn to the hole in the hope that there may be food in there.
Just be frying burgers inside.
Inside, have someone frying a burger. That's a good idea. What about that?
Well, I don't know. You see, in my head,
I don't think cows... But the thing is, I don't think cows know that humans eat them.
No, that's true. You have to show them a video first.
Yes, you have to explain.
But to show them have a slaughterman in there...
Yes.
Killing another cow...
Yeah.
In front of it...
Yes.
And then looking sort of menacing, holding the meat cleaver up and sort of saying, "You're next, my lady." And then getting ready, something like that.
Okay. And then it would reverse.
I'd imagine so, with some force.
What about doing something really fun behind the cow? So the cow wants to be involved and has an incentive to get its head out and join in.
Feels it's missing out.
And turn around and join in.
Sure.
Have a couple of cows having sex behind it. I have a party for the cow. Have a party
Have
for
a
the cow
party for
behind
the
the cow. A party for the cow behind the cow, so that it wants to join in. And you say, "Oh, blow out the candles."
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. Everyone stands behind it. Oh, this cow stripper's good.
So you think that the cow is doing it deliberately? It's not stuck. It's actually doing it for attention.
I'm not saying it's doing it for attention, but I just wonder if maybe if it had an incentive to get out.
I see.
It would be, or maybe it is doing it for attention.
Maybe it's undervalued, that cow.
Yeah.
All the other cows don't include it in its cow games,
That's right.
And its
parents never expressed their love directly, and so it's always struggled for the affection of people through the exploitation of pity.
I never thought about that.
No, exactly. Well, that's why you can't get a cow.
Maybe we're going about this the wrong way. Maybe instead of trying to force the cow's head out, we should try and force the rest of the cow through.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea.
So you'd have to take off its legs.
Yes.
I think, because they would be difficult.
Making it into a big brown snake.
Yes, basically. Yes. Just pushing from the other end.
Yes.
And then, like Play-Doh, through one of those Play-Doh machines where you squeeze it down and it's squeezed out.
So it comes
out
up,
a very long...
like a big leather snake.
Like a big leather snake.
Yeah, what about that? That's a good idea, that. So, right, okay, so my question then, how did they actually get it out? How did they actually get the cow out?
They just
made the hole bigger.
They made the hole bigger. They brought in lots of sort of like drills and just drilled the hole bigger.
I should have said that at the beginning. Next topic.
The next topic is local news. Some boys aged 8 and 9 were filmed basically wrestling in a cage in a Labour club in Preston, right? They were doing MMA fighting, mixed martial art fighting. And basically, it's the things you see grown, tattooed, burly men, not like you or I, Kelvin, men's men fighting one another. Well, these two are like 8 and 9-year-olds, and they've been filmed, and like there's a bit of one's on top of the other trying to strangle it and sort of, punching people. And the people who've done it are arguing that it's sport. It's young people engaging in sport. But it's not really, is it? It's just making an 8 and a 9-year-old fight.
Are people betting on it?
They probably are. I don't know, but I bet they are.
If people place a bet on it, it's sport. Whether it's a good sport, it's a sport.
Sure.
Well, now, okay. We're going to analyse this. Let me analyse this then. Let's just take as a given that this is a bad thing.
Yes.
Right?
Children fighting one another.
Made to fight each other. A bad
thing.
Right?
Yes.
A bad thing. But I do just want to pick you up on the fact that you queried it was a sport. Because are you going to say, is boxing a sport?
Yes.
Is MMA fighting a sport?
Yes.
How does the fact that it's a child not make it a sport? Now, before you answer, I want you to remember that I have already acknowledged it is wrong. It is a bad thing. So my question to you is not whether it's acceptable. It isn't, because it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But what I want you to just acknowledge is that it is a sport, but it's an evil sport. It's a bad sport. It is a sport, though, isn't it? Because people are being made to fight. There's a winner at the end, there's a loser at the end. People are fighting. Probably some bets are being placed on it. It's a sport, but it's an evil sport. It's a bad sport. But that doesn't mean you should call it a sport.
So we're going to go through things.
Whereas
we're going to go through things, and you want to tell me where the sports. No, we're going to go through things.
All right, fine.
Gladiator fighting.
Gladiator fight is a sport, but it's a bad sport. It's a bad thing.
It's
a bad thing. It's an evil sport, but it is a sport.
Feeding Christians to lions. Now,
it's not really a sport because there's no competitive element to
the Christians are armed.
Sport.
They're not armed.
Not sport.
Right. So fox hunting with an unarmed fox...
Yeah, is not a sport.
It's not a sport. It's not of enjoyment.
Because there's no competitive element to it.
The fox can run.
Yeah, it's not really a competitive element. Nobody's willing the fox to win.
So
I'm hoping the fox tears their eyes out. But,
So it's only a sport if it's not one-sided.
No, yeah,
there's an equal chance of peril to either party.
It has to be equally matched.
Right.
I'm not sure that...
So a man on a chariot in ancient Rome
yes.
racing a dwarf who has a goat leading his chariot. And they're having a chariot race in the Circus Maximus.
Yes.
Sport?
No, it's a bit... but that's slightly prejudiced against dwarfs, but okay.
Well, a goat probably couldn't pull a grown man, is my issue.
Okay, fine.
A child on a chariot.
Yeah.
Being pulled by a goat.
No, I don't think that's... Well, I mean, it is sport, ultimately, I suppose, yeah. It's not a very good sport. It's a bit of an unfair, one-sided sport. And it's a bad sport because it's about killing children.
Snake charming.
Not a sport. No sport, no competitive element. No, it's not. No, not a sport.
You can just a risk.
No, it's no sport.
No sport.
Not a sport. It's an entertainment.
Okay.
That's a party game. It's a party trick.
Party trick.
A party
Okay,
trick.
a party
But
trick.
snake charming is party trick. Party trick. Like shooting ping pong balls out of your fanny.
Could be a sport if there was another person on the
If
other
there was
side.
another person on the other side shooting ping pong balls out of your fanny, you're both trying to get them over in a cup or something. That would
In
be
the other person's fanny. You have to
in
land it into the other person's fanny.
That are competitive.
That's a sport.
It's a sport, competitive.
But no one's betting on it. They're just watching it.
It's
in
for
wide-eyed
their
horror.
entertainment, though.
Right. Okay.
Morbid curiosity,
Sure.
and not an evil sport, not a bad sport. Consenting.
That's not. That's a party trick. I thought you said that
No,
was a
that's
party
not.
trick.
No, but not if there's two of them both shooting.
Are
into
there
a
two
thing.
of them?
If there's a person on
Is
either side of
darts
the
a
room.
sport?
Yeah, because it's competitive.
Okay. Is drinking games, are they a sport? Competitive?
No.
Competitive?
No.
No?
I can't say I understand my rules, but they definitely exist.
Okay.
I want to make it absolutely clear that I'm not suggesting these things are all equivalent. I'm not suggesting they are all equally, balanced. They're equally fair. I'm not saying they're good or, I'm not passing judgment on the morality. Well, I am passing judgment. Kids fighting, bad. Very bad.
But a sport nonetheless.
But what I just don't like the way you immediately dismissed it as a sport, as if because it was bad, it wasn't a sport. It can be a bad sport. That's my point.
Okay.
It was more of a semantic issue I was taking there.
Okay. Would it make you feel better if I said that the gentleman who'd organised it described it as, I would liken it to a game of chess. It's about outsmarting your opponent.
Now that spoilt it for me because I don't think chess is a sport.
Well,
it's a game. Chess is a game. A game, and I don't think that. So now, if he's saying it's like a game of chess, that means it's not a sport.
It's not a sport.
It's not a sport, and
It's a game.
I feel that's undermined everything I said before about them.
Do you agree with him that two 8-year-olds pummeling the shit out of each other is very similar to chess?
How tactical is the fight?
Well, I would imagine it's just messy.
Two kids hitting each other.
Yeah, two kids hitting each
with
other
their fists.
Yeah.
No, that's not. That's nothing like chess. That's not. It's not.
No.
It's two children hitting each other. It's like a boxing match.
Are two
between
babies fighting? Is that a sport?
Yeah, of course it is a sport.
Two babies fighting to the death.
You
attach.
Are you not right? Listen
Right.
to me. Listen to me. Listen to me.
No, because
two babies are equally matched. Tick. There's a competitive element. Tick. They are fighting for the entertainment of other people. Tick.
right.
It is a sport. It's not a good sport. It's a bad sport. It's a bad
But chess
thing.
is a sport then.
No, chess is not. Chess is not. It's a game.
But then there's
Because
two
there's a
people,
board.
there's two people equal-
One of the rules with games, one of my other rules, which I haven't mentioned, is that because there's a board with that, you have a board.
Right.
Anything which involves a board is not
Sure.
not a sport. It's a game.
Sure. Table tennis. That's
Table
kind
tennis.
of a board.
No, it's not. That's not true. It's a table. By the naming of the game, you
Sure.
should know that that's a lie.
Is snooker a sport?
You're cheating.
Is snooker a sport?
It's a table. It's a snooker table.
Sure.
Come on, man. Listen.
So any game that's played on a table
is a sport.
Is a sport. So if there was a
Even if it's
chessboard the
called
size
game,
of a table,
even if it's called a game, even if you say let's have a game of snooker, it's not a game. That is itself semantically inaccurate.
it's a sport.
It's a sport. It's a competitive game on a table. That's not a game.
So there's two kids standing on either side of a road throwing stones at one another.
Yeah.
And an adult walks past,
Yeah.
looks at them, and is amused. A wry smile passes his lips.
Sport.
Sport. So
It's not a sport, that though, is it?
Well, it is.
Because that's
it's
a game.
nice, competitive. The two people are evenly matched. It's not played on a board.
Okay. Fine.
Okay? It's for somebody's amusement.
But there's no. Now let me think about this. Why is that a game? Because that's a game to me. I think that's a game. But there's no. You're right. There's no board.
It's a game of football, though.
It's a game. No, but that's a sport.
But it's a
The
game
name-
of football.
No, but that's again bad semantics. Two kids throwing stones at each other across
A street.
Across a street.
Yeah.
No, that's not. That's neither. That's not a game, and it's not a sport. But there's no competitive element. No. Yeah, I've got you. I've got you. There's no competitive element. That's why it's not a sport.
Well, of course it is. They're
There's
both
no
trying to hit
competitive
each
element.
other.
No, that's not the same. Not unless it was a score. If it was a score, if they had a scoring system, or they were trying to get them into a net or something.
So a third child is chalking up on the thing how many times people have done it. It's a sport.
The second they have somebody counting up the points, sport. But if they don't, and there's no competitive element, they're just throwing stones at each other. That's just two vandals. Sure. That's two vandals.
So chess has no real competitive element to it.
No, there's a board, so that's a game. I actually really enjoyed that one. That was the most fun I've ever had.
There we go.
Next topic.
I'm probably going to do the most interesting thing that's happened to Crease this week.
You said that like you were having a stroke. The most interesting thing I've ever heard. Say it properly. Say it clearly. Enunciate your words.
Do you want me to enunciate it?
Enunciate.
I'll do it like a BBC newsreader, shall I?
In the 1940s.
And now we have the most interesting thing that Chris has done this week. Now, I can't help but feel that this is going to be a bit of a downer on that lovely little sting. But recently, yes, it is sad, don't worry, my great-uncle died.
Oh, my God.
No, he was 96, it wasn't a tragedy. It was sad, but it wasn't a tragedy.
I feel this is a bit more appropriate.
He wasn't a king.
No, but I feel like this kind of pays tribute to him a bit more than that one I just played.
You played the Mario one.
You look at this one.
That's probably a bit disrespectful, actually. I'm going to take that back.
More appropriate.
No, it's not more appropriate.
Okay,
bless him.
No.
Anyway, my great uncle Ron, he was 96 and he died. And my family have been caught up in the arranging of the funeral and things like that. It's not simply a case of, you just sort something out overnight. It's I'm
just going to stop for 1 moment. Am I expected to make jokes through this section, or am I meant to be sitting here solemnly thinking, what the hell is he talking about this for? Because at the moment, I'm leaning towards the latter, but I'm more than willing to try the former if you think that will help.
Well, we've already played the Mario thing. I think that's probably the amount of laughs we're going to get out of that initial section. Anyway, it's got me thinking about what I would like to happen when I die.
People not to disrespect your death through the playing of a Mario sound.
No, I think that would be fantastic. I'd love that.
Okay.
See, that's the thing. I genuinely think that if people could take the mick... I'd like to die in a funny way anyway. I think dying in a comedic way would be a good thing because people would have a good laugh about it.
Good.
So we're laughing with you rather than at you.
I was going to say, because there's a difference, isn't there? There's a difference between dying in a funny way and dying in an embarrassing way.
Yeah, not an embarrassing way.
For example, if you were killed by, I don't know, but... using too big a dildo.
Yes.
That would be quite an embarrassing way to die.
That's true.
Not that there's anything wrong with using a big dildo, but I'm just saying I would find it quite embarrassing if my cause of death was using too big a dildo.
So, anyway, this has got off topic from what I was
talking
about.
I can't remember what we were talking about.
No.
Please tell me none of these are your cause of your granddad's.
No. No, he was... No, I wouldn't joke about that. I was going to make a joke, but I can't do it.
No.
Yeah, so it got me thinking about my funeral arrangements. I mean, it's obviously a very serious business death, but I'd quite like a bit of fun to be had.
But people say that. People say, "Oh, when I die, I don't want to have a sad funeral. I want to have a party, right?
Yeah.
I want to have a party. Everyone celebrates. I don't want people to celebrate my death.
No, because if anything, you'd just be a really pissed off ghost at the back going, I'm fucking dead! Mourn more!
Yeah, exactly. I want people to mourn me. I want people to suffer.
You want people to write laments.
I want to look down from heaven and see that people are fucking miserable without me. I don't want to look down and see everyone having a dance. Imagine if you missed the bit where they're all saying about how he wanted a party, didn't he? And you just come down from heaven just to see what's happened, see how they're getting on. And all you get is them having the party.
Oh, no.
You go down and see everyone that you love dancing, laughing, drunk. Basically, you think they were celebrating your death. That is not what I want. I can't take that risk. If there is a heaven, and I don't believe there is, but if there is a heaven, I want to come down and see people are fucking miserable without me.
I'd like days of mourning. Official and games. You know what they had when the Emperor died? Days of games.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I want people to basically devote days and days to doing various events in my honour. Give me all the mod cons of the modern funeral. I don't want any money spent on the living. Spend it on me, the person who's died, and whose day it is. It's my last day, my last special day. Make it special. Don't rob me of that by keeping the money for drinks
get the cake.
And for all this sort of thing. I should get a cake. That's the thing. People are always saying, oh, I don't want a big fuss. I just want a little quiet affair. Just my friends and family. You know, I don't want it to be a sad thing. I want a party. I want everyone to be laughing, telling jokes, telling stories, have a good drink on me. Yeah. No. All I'm saying is I want my death to be mourned as the worst possible thing that could have happened to these people. And I want them to have to endure that mourning for as long as they possibly can. You know? And I don't want to move on. You know, people say that. They say to their partners, I want you to move on. I want you to find someone else if I die before you. You know, I want you to move on. I want you to be happy. No, again, I don't want that. I want them to be permanently reminded that I was the most important person in their life, and they will never recapture that with another person. In fact, I actually would quite happily have a person who visited my other half every single day, dressed in black, and with a big picture of me, which they held up, and they told them how wonderful I was. They reminded my loved ones, look at this face. Do you remember how happy he made you? Do you remember how happy you were when he was here?
You will never be that happy
You will
again.
never be that happy again.
And slap them. That's the other thing. I'd quite like it. You know, like in the Kings of Old, like when Vikings died and stuff like that. And they killed all their family, or their servants, or their animals, and buried them in a big, like, pit.
Yeah.
That.
I
want people to remember, because I want there to be a slaughter when I die of all my nearest and dearest, so they come in with me.
What about this? What about a video link to my corpse so that the people who I leave behind can constantly check on me to make sure that I am definitely dead?
Yes.
So that throughout the day they can look up at the video feed, they can check that my corpse is there and it definitely is decaying. There's definitely it's not moved, it's not changed position, it's not, clawing at the coffin, it's not screaming. And they just keep checking it and make sure, he is definitely dead. It's been 3 weeks and he hasn't moved. I reckon he's dead. And then say 3 years later, they can say, right, he's definitely dead. I'll unplug it.
You wouldn't want them to unplug it. You want them to check constantly.
I would. That's the thing. What happens if at 3...
Like a rat breaks in or something.
That's the problem, isn't it? Because I wouldn't. I'd be so worried that at 3 years they'd unplug it, and moments later I'd go, oh my god,
What poison did I take?
What poison did I take? What poison did I take that put me into this trance? Oh, Romeo!
There we are.
There we are.
Excellent.
Anyway.
One of my next ones I'd like to ask you is one of Crease's hypotheticals.
Crease's hypotheticals.
You should do the stings. I want to know if you feel you could set up a shop.
No. Because in a way, the thing is, this question, I suppose, really is in 2 parts. Well, I've chosen to interpret it in 2 parts, whether you intended it that way or not. I've chosen to interpret it as, A, would you be good at running a shop?
Yes.
To which the answer is an absolute guaranteed no.
No, fair enough.
0 organisational skills.
Yep.
No skill with money. No,
interpersonal skills.
Personal hygiene. All of those things as mentioned. B, or 2, or 2 eyes, like I, and then like a, close brackets to imply as the end of the section. Would I want to run a shop?
Yeah. And what would you sell?
Well, again, if it was things that I wanted to sell, it would be like oddities, little odd things. Weird stuff.
You'd have a bric-a-brac shop.
I would have a bric-a-brac shop. I think that would be a good thing to have. But then I think...
Like an antique shop or a bric-a-brac?
No,
like
not antiques. I mean like literally like really odd bric-a-brac. The kind of stuff that you would see in a kid's TV show and they would buy a monkey's paw from it.
I understand.
A shop like that where there's like weird contraptions.
I see.
Weird things you don't quite know what they do.
Sure.
Boxes that you're sure move when you look the other way. That kind of stuff.
Rats.
Bubbling apparatus.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it'd be like a higgledy-piggledy Aladdin's Cave shop.
Yeah, kind of like an Aladdin's Cave shop.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like a sort of like clean, hygienic Debenhams / John Lewis's, everything on, clean glass.
No. I'd have a bird in a cage.
Sure.
And people would come, and instead of ringing a bell, they would come up to the counter and it would go, "Grah!" And I would come out from behind...
Smoke.
I would come out from behind a veiled curtain and smoke would pour out from behind me. And I would say, welcome! Welcome to Kelvin's Emporium. Yeah.
Okay, that's quite a cool shop.
I'd have a box with some human eyes on the counter. That kind of a shop. Yeah.
So an illegal shop then?
Not an illegal shop. They would be
they'd
in
be
a
legal
jar.
human
No,
eyes.
they'd be in
They'd be
a
from
jar.
dead bodies.
They're in a jar.
Hygiene.
But you don't know. It's the kind of shop where you wouldn't really know what the origins of anything were, and you, more to the point, you wouldn't want to know. The kind of place where you would find things which were clearly made of organic matter, but you wouldn't want to ask what organic matter.
Of course.
You know, what creature were these eyes from once? And you would just say...
Where it went, it doesn't need eyes to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I would talk in riddles. That's the kind of shop
And scare children.
I would scare... Children would come in... And they'd watch me, and I would know that they were there, but I would be facing the other way, and they would come in, and they would try and get to the counter without me turning around.
To steal an eye.
To steal one of the fingernails from the box of fingernails I had on my counter. And they would scurry up to the counter, and just before they got there, I would turn round with a shrunken head in my hand, and I would chase them out, saying, "Tell your parents what you saw!" That kind of a shop.
You think you could make money doing that?
The kind of shop that would be bankrupt in 3 weeks.
Sure.
That kind of a shop.
Yeah, and then people would say, "You remember this shop? It's the one that folded itself up into an interdimensional portal."
That kind of a shop.
And disappeared in a huge, strange purple haze.
That kind of a shop.
That shop.
That kind of a shop.
You remember, first it was here,
Yes.
then the next morning it was over here.
You remember the shop that was always in a different location every day? That shop, you remember? Yeah. The kind of shop that you would only be able to find when you wanted to buy some poison. So
that sounds incredible.
That's the kind of
That's the sort of shop I want to go to.
That is the kind of one I
shops
like.
like that anymore.
And it would be fairly expensive, but I would be willing to give you a discount if you gave me your soul. That kind of a shop. That kind of a shop is the kind
Sure,
of
of course.
Yeah.
This glowing text, ignore it.
Yes, that's right. Just sign this hovering document.
I don't have a pen. I have a knife.
Yeah, that kind of a shop.
Right.
Yeah.
That sounds like the best shop I would
does,
ever have gone
doesn't
into. I would have loved a shop like that as a child.
That's right. Right, well, I think we're pretty much sorted now.
All
aren't we?
done,
That's all of your topics. Okay, then, well, let's just quickly wrap this up. So, thank you very much for listening, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. On all of those, we've got various, we put things up. It's Radioface Comedy, you can find us on there. And also, obviously, on our YouTube, you can find videos and other things we've made and stuff. So go on there, Radioface Comedy. And that's it. Thanks again for listening. And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.